How's it going, guys? Got a super fun lesson plan for you today. We're going to work on our reaching skills as well as our pushing and our visual tracking skills. So to start off, in doing this, we're going to go through some chair yoga poses. The chair yoga poses are going to help us improve our upper body strength as well as our mobility. So to get started, you can just follow along here. About 5 or 6 different exercises. We're going to do about 10 reps of each, so just follow along as best you can. Feel free to pause and rewind if you need to. So here we go. Starting off, we're going to start with our neck here, so we're just going to do some nice easy turns. We're just going to look right and left, just like this. Just a nice steady pace. I'm going to sit up nice and tall in our chairs. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For this next one, we're going to need to bring up our hands up over here above our head. We're going to have our elbows straight out and our hands right over the top of our elbows like this. And now we're just going to reach across our body and we're going to grab our shoulder. Return back to that position each time. Again, just a nice steady pace. We're going to go through this one 10 times. Now going back to that position, we're going to reach across and now we're going to grab our knee. Same thing, still returning back to our starting position with our hands up over our head. Again, we want to sit up nice and tall when we're doing this, keeping our shoulders back, and nice and straight. For this next one, we're going to start with our hands right here flat on our lap. We're going to reach up like we're grabbing a fruit off of a tree. We're going to swing our hand out to the side. Imagine there's a basket on the floor next to you, and we're going to drop it into the basket. So once we're done with that, we're going to bring our hand back to our starting position on our lap, and we're going to do the opposite side. Reach, out to the side, drop, back. Reach, out, drop, back. Last 2. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to reach up, and now we're going to bring it out in front, drop it that way. So this one, we're reaching up, grabbing the fruit still. Now we're going to reach in front of us and pretend like we're handing it to somebody, just like that. So reach, reach, reach. Alright, so now we're going to build off the pose that we just did. We were doing one hand at a time, so now we're going to do two hands at a time. So our hands are going to start in our lap here. They're going to stay together, reaching up. Now when we come down, we're going to have one come out to the side to drop into our basket, and the other hand is going to come out to the front and give to our friend. So it looks like this. Reach. One arm gives, the other hand drops, and we come back to the center. And then we reach, and then we're going to switch sides. So now this hand gives, and this hand drops. Back to the center. Again, we want to sit up nice and tall here as best as we can. Reach. Reach. Last one. And relax. Okay, now we're going to work on turning our torso. So to start this one, again, we're sitting up nice and tall. We're going to grab our shoulders here with our hands, kind of like we're giving ourselves a hug. And we're just going to rotate our shoulders, try to look to the right and the left of us. Again, moving with a steady pace here, not too fast. We want to turn as much as we can. Come back to the center. Do about 5 more of these. Break from that. Now we're going to do something similar, but we're going to bring our hands out and place them to our elbows now. Kind of like taking like a genie pose here with our elbows out in front of us. And we're going to do the same thing, with rotating and back to the center. Just like last time, nice, steady pace. One more. And relax. Continuing on with our torso turns now, we're going to bring our hands out in front and we're going to place our fingertips together. Kind of making a circle with our arms that's right here in front of us. And now again, rotating. Same way we've been doing. Alright, just one more of these torso turns here. Take a little second to relax. Alright, now this last one we're going to have our hands out and apart from each other. So now still have that bend in our elbows. Our elbows are up with our shoulders. And now we're doing the same thing, just rotating our hands apart. Okay, last yoga pose here. We're going to sit up nice and tall just like we've been doing. We're going to bring our hands together and we're going to place them right in front of our belly button. And to start, we're going to open up our hands, palms up, let them fall at our sides. And then we're going to make a big circle, bringing our hands up over our head and bringing them back down the middle of our body, ending up right back in front of our belly button. Down, up, down the middle, and into our belly button. Alright, so for our first game, all we're going to need is a balloon to play. This game is going to work on our tracking skills, as well as our hand-eye coordination as we're reaching out for the balloon, trying to keep it up in the air. Okay, so basically all we're going to do is we're going to have our hands out in front of us just like this, so that's ready to hit the balloon wherever it goes. And we're going to try to pass the balloon back and forth between our two hands. So that means my right hand's gonna hit the balloon up, and my left hand will. And my right hand, and my left hand, okay? So it should look something like this. Let's see if I can get 10 passes between my hands without letting the balloon fall, okay? So important when we're doing that one, we want our hands out in front of our chest so that we can reach out and they're ready to hit the balloon wherever they go, okay? Okay, now for our next game, we're gonna keep that balloon from last time, except now we're gonna set ourselves up in front of a wall. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on holding the balloon in our chest and pushing it towards the wall. When we push the balloon towards the wall, it should bounce back towards us, and we're gonna reach out and catch it with our hands and bring it back to our chest again, okay? So I'll show you guys what that looks like right now. Okay, so I would set yourself up a little bit more than arm's length away from the wall. Like I said, we're gonna need that balloon. We're gonna hold it into our chest, and we're gonna push the balloon right into the wall and catch it when it bounces back towards us, okay? Just like this. Pushing, catching the balloon, and bringing it back towards our chest, okay? I'm gonna scoot back just a little bit. Okay, let's see if we can do 10 of these without letting the balloon touch the ground, okay? So with this game, if you want to add some variation, you can change the distance between you and the wall. The further you are away from the wall, the harder you'll have to push the balloon into the wall. But it would also give you more time to react because now there's more space between the wall and you that the balloon has to travel. So play with those variations, find a spot that fits you best, and see if you can do maybe 3 rounds of 10 passes without letting the balloon touch the ground. So this next game is going to basically be a modified bowling game. We're going to use that same skill that we were just using with the balloon when we were holding it into our chest and pushing it towards the wall. Only now we're going to push it towards our target, which will be the pins, or what we're going to use as pins. So for this, I'm going to use some empty water bottles as my pins. I have 3 of these, and also some empty white bead bottles here. Okay, so empty water bottles work really well. Empty cans, pretty much anything that's shaped like a bowling pin, around the same size. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pins and we're gonna set them up maybe about 10 to 20 feet away from us, and we're gonna use some sort of ball. I'm gonna use a volleyball, a basketball could work, a soccer ball, anything like that. And again, like we were doing with the balloon, we're holding it into our chest, and now we're gonna push it towards our pins. So let me get set up and I'll show you guys what it looks like. So here's how I set up my pins. I wanted them close to each other but not touching. And then you can see down there is my chair that I'll be sitting in to roll the ball towards my pins. If you would like, you can get 2 balls. That way, just like in regular bowling, you can have 2 rolls per turn to try to knock all the pins down. Okay? So that game can also work great with a partner. You guys could take turns doing 2 rolls per turn, and then scoring wise you can use the same scoring like in bowling, giving yourself a point for each pin you knock down during your turn. You can do this maybe for 8 to 10 turns and then calculate your scores at the end and see who won. Okay, for our last game, basically it's going to be a modified version of the game bocce ball, if you've ever played that. What we're going to need to start is an object to be our target. We can use one of the pins that we use from our bowling game. An empty bucket would work. I'm going to use a stuffed animal here. Basically anything that could stand up, like a cone, something like that. And we're going to place our target about the same distance as in the bowling game, maybe 10 to 20 feet away. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get 4 other objects, and these are gonna be our throwing objects, okay? So to add some variation, to make it kind of fun, I grabbed 4 different items, just random items around my house. First one is gonna be the ball that I used in the bowling game, a softball. We're gonna use a rock, and this 49ers stuffed bear. Go Niners. So you'll need about 3 or 4 objects to throw. These will be your throwing objects, and then our target object, okay? So depending on the object that we're using, we might need to change how we throw that object, okay? So something like this softball I can hold in one hand. So I would bring my hand down at my side, and I would use an underhand throwing motion to throw the ball towards my target. If I was using something larger like this volleyball, I can't really hold it in one hand that well. So what I'll do is I'll use that same technique that we did in the bowling and the balloon game, and we'll hold it into our chest and we're gonna push it towards our target, okay? So the rules for this game. So we have our target object that's upright. It's about 10 to 20 feet away from us. And we're gonna throw our objects and we're gonna try to get them as close to our target object without knocking it over. That's why we need something that stands upright so that it can knock over if we did hit it. Yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like next. Okay, so here's my setup. I have my chair along with my throwing objects, and then down here is my owl, which is my target object. Remember, I'm trying to get my objects as close to him as possible without knocking him over, okay? As you can see, when I threw that rock, I happened to knock him over, so it was a little bit too close with that throw. I'm going to grab my objects and I'm going to try again for another round. So here's where my objects landed. The volleyball was the closest, about a foot away from my target. The next closest was the softball. And then over here, my rock and the teddy bear landed. So keep trying this game. Hopefully you're getting your objects closer and closer to your target each time as you get more comfortable throwing them. So that's another great game to do with a partner. What you would do is take turns throwing, and then at the end of the round, once all the objects are thrown, you would see who got their object the closest, again without knocking the target over in this game. And whoever did get their object the closest would be the winner of that round. And you could play for a few rounds and then see who wins the most rounds at the end. Alright, that's all the games I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.